Hey Stitchers, happy Memorial Day. Trying to see. Yep, it's recording. Okay, wasn't sure. Sorry. Anyway, happy Memorial Day. I thought I would make a quick video just to show you an update on my whips, and I have a small haul, very small haul. But I have only two whips that I've been working on. Operation Dad has been in full effect, so I've been putting all my focus in on that so I can get it shipped out. Hopefully, um, I'll be hopefully shipping that out on the Saturday before Father's Day, at the very latest that Tuesday. So hopefully I'll get it done. I think I have a few weeks left. But I wanted to show you my update on those two whips that I'm working on. The other one, of course, it's the needle worker, and I've been working on that on my lunch breaks or um, anytime I have some free time. It just travels in the car. I rarely bring it in the house. I think the last time it was in the house was on my last video. Um, so real quick, oh, I also have two finishes that were already finished, but um, I decided, since watching Tara C's two videos on framers, I've decided that I too could frame a cross stitch. But that is yet to be determined. They're in a frame, I'll say that, um, which is more than I can say that they've been for the past few years at the very least. Um, they've been in a drawer, but I decided that I too can frame a cross stitch, and these are my first attempts at, I can't even say the word professional. I'll let you guys be the judge. They're in a frame. I'll leave it at that. But anyway, just to give you a quick update on my whips, here we have the needle worker, or need, and a bird. It's almost completed the first page. I think the only two letters left on this page are the L and the E, and then I go on to the second page, which is the worker part. So I have been working on my lunch breaks, um, and I've recently discovered on Instagram that there is a stitch along started by Carolyn and Tina for this particular pattern. So I invited myself to join their stitch along, and I think they'll be happy to have me. I think the more the merrier. So I'm gonna stitch along. But anyway, here is the update on my needle worker. I'm sorry, but the fan is just blowing, and I don't know why. Well, no, this thread shouldn't be there, but it's holding its place, and you know. So anyway, there's my update on that. Okay. And if you've watched my last video or followed me on Instagram, you know I've been working on Operation Dad. Operation Dad is what I have lovingly named the Northern Expressions Needlework Spanish Diamonds pattern. I started this, I want to say June of last year, and then I kind of put it away. And I decided that I wanted to bring it back into the rotation because it was such a beautiful design. And I brought it back into my rotation. And then as I started stitching on it and I was really looking at the colors, my dad lives in the Southwest United States. So the colors are really part of the decor in the Southwest area. And I was stitching and I was like, you know what, this would look really beautiful in my dad's house. So boom, Operation Dad, I'm trying to get it done for Father's Day. So I'm on a bit of a time crunch here because I didn't have a whole lot done. And the bands, it's all specialty stitches, um, which I'm loving because I'm learning so much. I've done Rhodes stitches, Sprat's Head stitches, Jessica stitches, upright rice stitches. So I'm learning so much. So it's really been a pleasure to work on. At this point, it's become, you know, sometimes when you're working on something for somebody else, it becomes work, it becomes a job. That's what this is slowly becoming, because there's a deadline attached to it. A self-proclaimed deadline, but you know, I put it on myself, but it's still a deadline attached to it. So I'm ready to be done with it now. But I'm going to keep on, and hopefully I'll be able to get it finished for him in time. But this is my update. It's done of, it consists of bands similar to the Twisted Band sampler, but these are all horizontal and vertical bands, kind of going around and around in an orderly fashion to create a rectangle. So here I'm going to try to see through the camera. I mean, through the fabric. Here, hopefully I have everything in there. This is my update. Can I? Yep. There we go. This is my update. This band over here, there we go, over here is what I'm working on right now. So you can see right here on the border, some of that has been filled in, and I'm going to keep working my way around and up the top. And these cross stitches were just done in the middle. Everything else, I think there's a new specialty stitch being introduced in this one that I haven't done before. But once this band is completed, then I'll have to do a horizontal band down here, and then I'll do the final bands surrounding the piece, and then it's done. Let me see if I can get a close-up there for you. That's the center. That's where I began. That's where it all began. And then I did these two, no, yeah. Then I did these two bands on the side. And then I had to frog and do them again. Then I did this band on the bottom. And I just completed, and then I did this band right here. And I'm hoping you can see this. I'm trying to look through the linen. Some eyelet stitches there. I just completed this band yesterday. I think so far this is my absolute favorite. I love these satin stitches and that go around in these large diamonds. These rice stitches, right here, the rust colored diamond, and then the exterior teal colored design here. These are the upright rice stitches, and hopefully you can see how intricate they are. They were rather tedious, but it was well worth it. And then I went into, I can't see what, let me see. Those were the Sprat's head stitches and some smaller eyelets in the teal, and then the flower pattern in the middle with the rust. Those are some more satin stitches. And then I went, oh, I forgot to show you this one. This band right here. And this is the one I'm working on now. Now this border with the half eyelets and the little road stitches in between, I'm telling you, this border is tedious. Painfully so. So I got the border done, and then I have one more to do. One more border to do right down here. And then hopefully, give you one last view. Once I do that last horizontal band at the bottom, I don't have to do any more of those eyelet and road stitch borders, because they are something else. They're beautiful, but my goodness, they are quite time consuming and tedious. But just to give you some background on this, because I've gotten so much wonderful feedback off of Instagram, and I really thank everybody for their support and encouragement, because it's really motivating me to power through this. Because you guys know, I'm a starter. I like my new projects. I like my new starts. So I have been very good with focusing on this one, this labor of love. But you guys have really been motivating me to power through this. So I thank you so much, all of you, for your support and your encouragement and your kind words. I really appreciate it. But just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a cross stitcher. I've never done specialty stitches. So this was as intricate as this looks. This was my first go around with specialty stitches, and I know the boss lady Watkins, you know, she said she left the comment that she wanted to go to her LNS to learn how to do specialty stitches. But I'm telling you, the Northern Expressions, or excuse me, I'm getting it wrong, Northern Expressions needlework, that's it. If you buy any of those patterns, be it the Twisted Sampler or the Spanish Diamonds, there's a lot of specialty stitches, and they really teach you how to do it. They give great pictures and illustrations that really show you how to do it. I know Mrs. Melky Barkid has posted a couple of videos showing you how to do specialty stitches. So depending on where you are, a lot of people don't have an LNS near them. You really don't need it. You really don't. What I would like to do before this is all said and done is do a video showing how I do the specialty stitches, or just watching me stitch, so you can see it's just like cross stitch. It's just knowing what hole it goes into and what direction it's supposed to go into. Unlike cross stitch, where it doesn't matter what direction you go in, as long as all the legs are facing, the top legs are facing the same way. This is a little different. You do have to go in a particular direction in order for the pattern to come to life and look the way that it's supposed to look, but it's not difficult. It's just different. So I encourage anybody to take advantage of one of those patterns that introduces you to specialty stitches. You don't have to do what I did. I dove in the deep end to learn how to swim, meaning that I just got this huge project of specialty stitches. It's rather large, when really I should have started off with something smaller so I could feel my way around, but I'm okay with it. I mean, obviously, I think I'm past the halfway point, or at least at the halfway point. I would say I got about 2/3 of it done. Yeah. And, you know, the frogging was simply because I miscounted. It wasn't because I was doing it wrong. You know, it takes you, some of the stitches I just had to go slowly and go from pattern to the fabric, pattern to the fabric, to just make sure I was doing it correctly. But after a while, you know, you kind of build up your rhythm and you recognize the pattern of what direction to go in, and you're kind of freestyling. You're just doing it. So I really recommend it. It's different, and just like the black work, it's different, but I highly recommend it because it just expands your stitching palette, so to speak. So those are the only two whips I have to show. I guess I can show my finished objects. This is so funny to me because if you knew what I went through to try to just get this in the frame, it's funny. It's really funny. But anyway, and it's also, you know, the frame is a little too small, but it's okay. It's my first time doing it, so whatever. You know, I'm proud of it, and I'm gonna put it on the wall. I'm not gonna show you the back of this one because I need to put some of that craft paper, that brown paper, over the back because the back is completely exposed because I literally had to fight with this thing to get it in the frame, but it's in there. So thank you, Tara, for your tutorial. This is much better than just slapping it in the frame like I've done in the past, and it looks crooked and wrinkled, and so this is a step up for me. Not perfect, but it's a step up. But this is footprints, and I'm hoping you can see that without the glare. There you go. This is footprints. I don't remember what kit this is because it's been a while since I've done it. You see how my little F is kind of cut off up there? It's okay. But you can read it. It's okay. And I might try to reframe this because it's a little bit small. But I actually pinned it, and I might just leave it as is. But it's so pretty. And I don't know. I'm just so happy it's in the frame and it looks like something. Because before it was folded out. And you can see right there, I don't know what that is. That's a little stain right there. So, you know, this is, it's challenged. This project is a little bit challenged with its stain and its special framing, but I love it because it's finished and it looks pretty and I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it. So that's my footprints. I don't remember what this was. I think this was a Dimensions kit. I don't know, but I think it's even still in, it may not even be in print anymore. But I started this years ago, and I just finished it, I think, 5 years ago. I don't know. Maybe 5 years ago. So, but hey, I have a finish. Anyway, that's the first one. And this one, the next one, I used one of these things, but I followed Tara's advice. This is one of those with the self-adhesive. It's the Peel and Stick Mounting Board for Textile Art by Needle Art. It's an acid-free premium foam mounting board, but I didn't use the sticky stuff. I put it on the opposite side. The sticky stuff is on the back. I never peeled off the paper. I just used this to pin my project to it. So I pinned on this side, but the sticky paper is actually on this side. So I never peeled it off. I just used this as the mounting board. And this, the frame is a little small, so it cuts some stuff off. But this is black. I don't know what this is called. This was a DMC kit. You see how it's cut off right here? It says black olives, garlic, Mediterranean olives. That's cut off right there. And down here it says Spanish olives. And it's okay. But I couldn't get the mat out. It wasn't, I picked up this frame from Dollar General. I think I paid like $4 for it. So you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? I couldn't get the mat out. The mat came with it. I couldn't get the mat out to trim it down. I hope you can see this because I see a glare of me right there. So I hope you can see this. I couldn't get the mat out. Oh yeah, there you go. I couldn't get the mat out to trim it down because I think there's like a half inch on each side of exposure that's being cut off. But in the meantime, you know, I like it. I'm okay with it like this, really. I think it's, you know, nice. And I can hang it in my kitchen and it'll look nice in there. I think it's nice. I don't think I'll reframe it, but in my future projects, you know, I'll take some time to do that properly. Like, especially with the Spanish diamonds, I really want to get it professionally framed, but I might just try to pin it myself because the pinning was successful. The problem was the frames were too small. So I think that I will take Tara's advice and pin it and get a matte board cut to fit it because I do want to have a matte board. Maybe to pick up some of the gold colors because there's a lot of golden colors that are in the multi. Maybe I can show you a lot of gold colors that are in this multi-color thread. Like right there, that nice golden. Oh, maybe I'm pointing to the orange. Like right there. There's some gold. I think a nice deep goldenrod color matte would look really nice. With like a nice wooden frame. I think that would look nice. So anyway, I digress. I think I want to get a matte professionally cut and find the proper size frame. And if I can do that, then it will look beautiful. I think the problem with these two is the frames that I picked up were just too small. Simple as that. Oh, I'm sorry I keep rubbing my nose, but I don't know. I'm developing allergies or whatever. Anyway, small haul. This is kind of a half a haul. In my last video, I showed you the Dinky Dyes silks and beads that came for the tiramisu kit, but my pattern was on back order. I got it like 2 or 3 days later. So there is the Glendon Place tiramisu from the dessert collection. And that was designed by Cheryl Granda. So I'll be working on that sometime. Not sure when. And this one I got this past Friday when I went to Joann's for the Joann's sale. If you guys didn't go to Joann's, they had floss on sale for 99 cents, and then they gave you an extra 20% off. So the skeins were like 26 cents each as opposed to 40 cents each. So I really stocked up on my DMC, and before I show you this, I really stocked up on my DMC, and I took, her name just went out of my head, and I say, oh my gosh, Trisha the Left-Handed Stitcher. Oh, I say her name all the time, and it just left my head. But anyway, hi Trisha. Trisha the Left-Handed Stitcher posted her file for her DMC floss cards in one of her Facebook groups before I was rudely kicked off of Facebook. That's another story. I'll give you guys a little heads up on that. I was kicked off of Facebook. My account was disabled. I had been banned, and I'll explain that. Who knew that would happen? Who knew that even happened? Anyway, she posted the file for her DMC cards, and I bought the file. I printed the file. I cut the cards down, and so now I have the DMC cards for every single color. This is just one of the boxes. There's like 7 boxes that I have that are holding all the DMC floss. And I can say now that my DMC floss collection is completed thanks to the unbelievable sale that they had at Joann's. Look how cool it looks at the bottom. Isn't it cool? So I have about 7 of these boxes, and they're just stacked up with this facing outward. So I know in every box what starts. So if this one starts on 520, I think the one before that might say 317. So I know that anything between 317 and 519 is in the box before this one. And then the next box starts like in the 700s. So anything between 520 and that box, that number up top, I know is in this one. So they're all in the plastic snack baggies. And I actually went through and took all of my old floss and organized it and put it into its proper bag. So all of my old floss, except for kitted up projects, all of my old floss is stacked away, organized. My collection is complete. I'm very happy. So anyway, that was the Joann's sale. But when I was at Joann's, after buying all of that floss and being in line for like 25 minutes with a 15-foot long receipt, because they have to ring everything up individually, I'm telling you, I could feel the heat from on the back of my neck from the people staring at me behind the line, because they weren't busy until I got there. I shut it down. So people were not happy with me, but it's okay. Because as the cashier told me, I too have a right to my purchases. And I do. My purchases are just as important as theirs. But anyway, I had the nerve to buy a kit. With all that daggone floss I bought, I had the nerve to buy a kit. Who does that? Me. But anyway, I just thought it was so cute. This is actually my first Joan Elliott kit. She's called the Stitching Angel. But she was on clearance for $7.99, and then I still got 20% off of that. So I couldn't beat it. But anyway, it's a little cross stitcher, the Stitching Angel. Her little sign here says cross stitchers are extra special, because we are. And then she has a little frame on her picture on the wall. This is like a stitch. She has a little pin cushion, spool of thread. I think that's a thimble. Little buttons. And I thought this was so cute. She has her little case with her cottons, her silks, her charms, and her beads. You could tell this was designed by a cross stitcher, I'm telling you. And she's just floating through with her little bag of stash. She's just floating through the room with her little wings. And I think I'm going to do those wings, try to bling them up with some Krennic or petite braid. But one day I'm going to do this. I just thought she was so cute. And I love the price. So that was that. And oh, this is not the last haul. I wanted to tell you guys about these scissors. Stitching May talked about these scissors. And she found them at Dollar General. And I have a Dollar General. I could literally walk there in like 5 minutes of that. But they have these little scissors at Dollar General, and they're like $4. And I'm telling you, I've purchased the good Ginger scissors. I have purchased the nicer scissors from DMC. These are the best embroidery scissors I've ever purchased. Ever. They are so sharp, and I just love them. I just love them. But I wanted to show you guys these scissors. If you have a Dollar General near you, these scissors are $4, and they're really good. These are my favorite. To the point where I was in Dollar General earlier today, buying frames for my cross stitch, and I bought another pair of polka dots. They are from the Sewing Patch. Best scissors ever. Dollar General. Who knew? I wanted to share that with you guys. If you have a Dollar General near you. What else do I have? Oh, I did buy this only because I know that a lot of people, when I purchased my chatelaine, a lot of people were saying that they wanted to do a chatelaine as well, but they were very cost conscious, which makes a lot of sense. I want to show you this mini kit. It's a mini chatelaine that I bought, the mini mandala that I purchased. Let me see if I can pull the picture up while I'm talking. I purchased the mini mandala only because I think that when I purchased my chatelaine, I was a little intimidated because I've never done one before. And I was looking at the lovely Array, and she's completed a couple of them, a couple of the minis rather. And it made perfect sense that she wanted to, excuse me, I'm trying to find the pattern while I talk. it made perfect sense that she wanted to practice on the mini before she jumped into the big one, and that really made a lot of sense. But that's all to say, for the people that are very cost conscious about the chatelaines, this kit that I'm about to show you, it only costs like 35 bucks. So it's a little more friendlier. It's a little friendlier on the pocket, and it's still a chatelaine, just as sparkly, just as beady. It's just a smaller version. Forgive me while I try to find this real quick so I can show you the pattern. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, every time I make a video, something happens that I'm just not prepared. I'm going to pause this, if I can figure out how to pause it. I don't know how to pause it, so I'm not going to pause it. Sorry, guys. If I knew how to edit my videos, I would cut this part out right now. But I've never taken the time to figure out how to edit, so I apologize. This is it. That is the Mini Mandela. There you go. That is the Chatelaine Mini Mandela 6. Mini Mandela number 6. You can see my battery is running out on my phone. So I purchased the Mini Mandela to give it a go. The kit, like I said, was about 35 bucks, and it came with the fabric, antique white, 32 count antique white Belfast linen. It came with Gloriana silks. This colorway is Cottage Woods. Silken thread, Thread Gatherer Silken Colors. This colorway is Green Leaves. And a Water Lilies in Azure. It's pretty. There's a lot of DMCs in this one, so of course it doesn't come with the DMCs. Came with Petite Treasure Braid in silver, PB58. And then it came with the little bead pack. Came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 containers of beads. This is a little easier. 5 containers of beads, and then some crystals right here. I'm not going to take all of those out because this is already going a little bit longer than I anticipated. And there's a couple of things that I want to show you. And my phone's running out and I need my phone to do it. So anyway, I purchased the Mini Mandela kit. I'm really trying to slow down on my spending because there are so many things that I have. I don't know what's been going on with me the past couple of months. I've really been showing off with my cross-stitch spending, my stash acquisitions. I've just been out of control. So I'm reeling myself back in. But I did want to purchase the Mini Mandela before I got started on the big one, just so I can familiarize myself with the chatelaine. I don't know why I'm intimidated by it, but I am. So that's it for my haul. There is one last thing that I want to show you. I got a pattern from Etsy. You know, I see things all the time for Wizard of Oz. You know, Garrett loves Wizard of Oz. Carolyn has this adorable little needle minder with Dorothy. I'm I'm a little sensitive about the Wizard of Oz, and I'll tell you why. Um, Years ago, I love the movie. Let me say that. Love the movie. Um, but every time I see something with the Wizard of Oz or I watch the Wizard of Oz, it always makes me think of my brother because he played the Tin Man um, in a school play, and um, I lost my brother a while back, rather tragically and suddenly. So I don't know, I never really wanted to stitch anything Wizard of Oz until I saw this. Um, this pattern, hopefully you can see it. It's a vintage Wizard of Oz poster print. I don't know. Um, but something about this pattern, it was very simple. Um, Not a lot of colors, but I just looked at the Tin Man and the way he was just sitting there. Why is this acting like this? Here we go. The way he was sitting there, just, I don't know, it was just something very sweet about it, and I thought of my brother. Um, so that is the only reason why I purchased this pattern. Um, I'm not into um, stitching that my style of stitching. I usually like a lot of ethnic or unique patterns, something that's a little, definitely love sparkly, something that's a little different. I think my cross stitching angel, that's about as cartoony as I get, and I say cartoony for lack of a better word. I usually don't stitch stuff like that, so I normally don't stitch things like this either. But it was something about this pattern, the simplicity of it. I like the vintage style, and something about the Tin Man just kind of sitting there holding hands with the Scarecrow. It just made me think of my brother who played the Tin Man in the school play, and it brings back happy memories that I always welcome when I think of him. So I purchased this pattern, and hopefully sometime in the near future I'll get to stitching it. But I'm going to really try to just issue a moratorium on my spending, unless it's necessary items like floss or needles, stuff like that. But as far as new projects, I'm going to try to limit my impulse buying, and really, if I do purchase something, it has to be something that I just cannot resist. But I'm really trying to kind of stop with my spending and enjoy the projects that I've purchased, because even though my name is the Crafty Curator, I truly am building up a collection that could fill a museum, and it's ridiculous. Enjoyable. I don't regret any of it, but it's ridiculous. So anyway, I wanted to try to do, I've never done a stitching tag before, so I decided I'm going to do Pam's tag. And I'm gonna, where are we? We're at 33 minutes right now. I've never done a tag before. I don't know why. But the stitching styles tag, I think I'm going to do it. I just pulled her up on my phone. Excuse me, the video. I've heard a lot of people doing this, but I don't know the question, so I'm truly going to just kind of go through this really quickly. I don't think I have anything else I need to show you. Okay, so number one, favorite fabric. I would have to say even weaves. I stitch on 32 count. I stitch on 28 count. I haven't done 36 or 40, but I don't know if they come in an even weave. I think they're more of a linen. And linen, I can stitch on it. My Mirabilia is on a linen, but it still throws me a little bit. I'm not as comfortable stitching on linen as I am on even weave. I do like 18 count Aida for Heaven and Earth Designs or Mystic Stitch, not for any other types of designs. But I usually go to 8 to 18 count Ada for my Heaven and Earth Designs. But I think I want to give 10 stitch a try. And I think I'm going to try that on 25 count Lugana. So clearly, I use every type of fabric, but I think my favorite would be even weave. Hoop or frame, all of the above. I enjoy my scroll frame a great deal, immensely. I love the Millennium frame, but I also still use my Q-snaps or an embroidery hoop for my travel projects. I prefer the Q-snaps, but if I have an embroidery hoop available, I will snatch that sucker up. The only difference is I do take it off the hoops when I'm not stitching, and I'm actually sitting here telling you a lie. As we speak, I'm lying to you because I have a project that I keep next to the bed that I'll stitch on a little bit before I go to sleep. Not enough to even show progress because sometimes it's 10 stitches and I'm done. But it's in the hoop, and it's been in the hoop, so I'm lying. I try to take it out of the embroidery hoop if I'm not stitching. Do you use a stand or just hold your frame? I do use a stand. I have the Jat stand from Judy Odell, the Just a Thought stand, which is absolutely wonderful. Unbelievable. It holds hoops, frames, Q-snaps, anything. It's significantly less expensive than the Millennium frame stand, the Necessaire stand. It is manufactured and shipped within the United States, so for those of us in the States, it ships a little bit quicker. From the point that I ordered it to the time it was in my hands, I think it was a week. I waited 3 months for my Millennium frame to be available to purchase, and then waited 5 months from my time of purchase to receive it, total of 8 months. So I'm going to leave that there. You all know the waiting times with the Millennium frame. The Millennium frame, I haven't seen anything that's equivalent to that. So yes, it was worth the wait. But as far as the stand, I have been happily stitching using the Just a Thought stand from Judy Odell, and it has been absolutely wonderful with the Millennium, with Q-snaps, with anything. But a lot of times with Q-snaps or hoops, honestly, I'll just stitch them holding them. So there you go. What's your favorite time to stitch? Anytime I have time to stitch. I do stitch a lot at night, on the weekends during the day, of course, but whenever I can stitch is my favorite time to stitch. Do you use a printed paper copy of your chart or digital? Both. My battery is dying on my phone, so I'm going to try to get through this. I use both. I still prefer printed paper copy that I can highlight or use my little twistables to color in. Are you a floss slicker? Absolutely. I use a needle threader for the pearl weight cottons that I'm using, the pearl weight cotton that I'm using on my Spanish diamonds. That's the multicolored thread that you see. Everything else is NPI silks. But that multicolored thread you see is a pearl weight wildflowers from Karen, and I use a needle threader for that. But other than that, I lick my floss. Do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? Have we met? All right. What is your favorite floss? My go-to floss is usually DMC, but I do enjoy, and this is just within the past year or so, I've gotten into using silks, but I only use them, get them as the projects call for them. I don't go out of my way to buy silks. I did do it for the Spanish diamonds, but I've never used silk like I have in that. But I did decide at the time of purchase that I wanted to do it in all silks. But other than that, I used the silks that came, well, they didn't, yeah, that came with the chatelaines, because I did want to go the whole nine with those, get silks for those. But I do like dinky dye silks, but I don't have enough experience, but I like the MPI silks too. I don't have enough experience with different types of silks to be able to form an educated opinion on that. DMC, I go with the flow. With Thread Heaven, everything is wonderful. Are you a serial starter or do you have a whip at a time? I'm going to defer to my answer for number 7 and just say, have we met? Okay? Yeah. Do you have more FFOs or UFOs? I have 2 FFOs right now. I have some finished objects that I have given away. Let's just, my battery's dying on the phone, so let's just say I have more UFOs and more whips than FFOs. Do you watch TV while stitching? Yes. I also listen to audiobooks. I also watch Flosstube. I've done a lot of stitching this weekend, and I've been listening to book 2 for the Game of Thrones, and it's wonderful. I find I'm less distracted when I'm listening to audiobooks. I just love it. You just stitch away, and you know, George is telling me his story. Well, it's not George, but you know, I love the audiobooks, but while watching TV, while floss tubing, all of that. Do you mostly stitch alone, or do you ever get together with someone to stitch? I don't have any physical stitchy friends. I might soon, now that my husband has his own little project that is still in the closet, unstarted. Just saying. But I have my virtual stitchy friends, because I'm telling you, when I watch Flosstube, especially if it's a nice, long, juicy video, I don't know. But if it's a nice, I'm sticking with it. If it's a nice, long, juicy video, I will grab my stitching and I will stitch right along with you. I'm putting it out there, I love to watch people stitch on Flosstube. I think her name was Mandy O'Callahan, and Lizard Lee. They've done many videos where they just stitch. I like Mandy O'Callahan's because I really like to see what she's doing, while Lizard Lee kind of fast forwards through it, but I still watch her, so it depends on your taste. But I love to watch people stitching. I really do. But again, that distracts me while I'm stitching. So those types of videos, I'll just kind of sit there and watch it like I'm watching TV. Does anybody else do that? It's kind of weird, actually, now that I said it out loud. Do you mostly, okay. Do you like to experiment and alter things with your charts, or do you stitch them just as written? I'll experiment with color changes. We know that I've changed skin tones, like the Spanish diamonds, that was done completely in blues originally, and I just completely changed that. I don't alter charts like Garrett is becoming famous for doing. He not only alters them, but he adds and enhances them. I don't enhance charts. I will alter colors, but I don't add things to it or change the pattern. I'm not there. What he does is amazing. I don't know how he does it, but it's amazing, and I truly appreciate what he does. I'm just not willing to do that myself because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. But I will alter colors. Not always, just depends on what the project is. Do you bobbinate, floss, or not? Both. Bobbinate in a kitted up project, in like the little Darren boxes, the compartmental boxes, excuse me, for a particular pattern. I'll bobbinate those and work out of that box. But for my stash, my DMC stash, I use the snack baggies with the little, this thing. That's that with the little DMC card, and then I just use the snack baggies to store it. That's how I store my floss. But as far as working projects, I bobbinate. Do you start a project in the middle of your fabric or in the corner? Both. If it's something like my memorabilia, or something like this, or even the blend in place, I'll probably start it in the middle. I don't know, blend in place, I might start it at the corner. It depends on how the pattern is written. If it is a multi-page pattern, like from Heaven and Earth Designs, and I cannot easily determine where the middle is, I'll start in the upper left-hand corner. If I can fold my fabric in half and easily tell from the pattern where the middle is, then I can start in the middle. If it's a full coverage project like a Heaven and Earth, 9 times out of 10, I'll start in the top left. I'll probably even start in the top left for this one. But for something like this, I'll start in the middle. Do you have a whip rotation? I do. But I haven't been successful at sticking with it. I have a rotation, but I keep getting new projects and adding to it because I like to start my new projects. But But what I'm finding, ironically, go figure, sticking with Operation Dad, the Spanish diamonds, I'm kind of liking sticking to one project and watching it come to life. And I think that's something I've been denying myself because I'm a serial starter. I don't think I've ever truly appreciated how wonderful it is to start something, stick to it, and finish it. How's that for a concept? Isn't that the whole point, really? But right now, I do have a whip rotation that I am not actively, I don't know why I keep hitting the iPad, I'm sorry, that I'm not actively working on because I'm trying to finish this project for my dad. So the only two things I'm working, well, let's say three things that I'm working on is Operation Dad, which stays on the frames and on the stand. I have my needle worker, which stays in the car, and I work on when I'm in the car, or if I'm on a lunch break. And then I have this other project that just stays next to the bed that's on a hoop, simply because on the Millennium frame it's a bit bulky, so I don't take that in the bed to stitch, but I do like some little nightstand stitching. But I don't really do a lot on it, so it's just not a lot to show. Yeah, I'm not even going to show it. It's not a lot. It's like, anyway, I'm rambling. Do you use a timekeeper to keep track of how long it takes you to complete a project? No. I'm fascinated by those that do. I just know that I won't stick to that. I might start it, but I won't keep up with it, so no, I don't. But I love to hear how people track their time and how many stitches they did. I'm amazed at that. I'm just not disciplined enough to do that. Do you use the parking technique? Yes. I'm using it on my fractal, but not on the one that's next to me on the nightstand. So sometimes is my answer. Do you keep your orts? Yes. There's my ort jar. But you know, I keep this ort jar. It's a piece of yarn right there. I keep this ort jar because that's what everybody else does, but what's the point? Why do we do this? I guess to keep from having to vacuum up all that stuff. Yeah, but then you don't want to throw it away. Somebody had a great idea with using crystal clear Christmas bulb ornaments and filling the crystal clear ornament with their orts as a memento. I thought that was a cool idea. I would even go so far as to take these and use it as filler. I don't know. Why can't we just throw stuff away? We're hoarders, aren't we? I mean, really, even down to the threads, the raggedy threads, we're hoarders. It's okay to admit that. We're not alone. Do you like to have a snack or a drink while stitching? I do. I don't usually snack while I'm stitching, but I do drink. I do keep coffee in a travel mug with a lid, and even when I sip it, I'll lean back and to the right so I'm not sipping it anywhere near my project. And then even after I take a drink, I hand sanitize. But I always have coffee while I'm stitching. I always have to have a beverage. And I think that was it. So I have just completed my very first Stitcher's tag. So thank you, Pam. So I am going to charge my phone because I have 12% of battery life left. And I'm going to end this video, which I did not expect to be this long. I really thought it was going to be a 15-minute update, but it is 48 minutes. So thank you guys for sitting through another video with me. And as always, I hope you enjoy watching my videos as much as I enjoy watching yours. I love, 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 love your videos. I'm probably going to watch some Flosstube now. And Trisha, welcome back. I was so happy to see you uploaded a video. I love watching your videos. So I'm so glad to see you're back. In Albuquerque, I did not know that there was a cross-stitch store in Albuquerque because that's where my dad is. So the next time that I'm out there, I'm going to have to find that. I think you said it was called the Stitcher's Garden or the Stitcher's Nest. But if it's the only LNS in the state of New Mexico and it's in Albuquerque, best believe I will find it. So that's something to look forward to. What else? I want to give a shout out. I think I did on my last video. I don't remember if I gave a shout out to the boss lady Watkins. I just discovered her on YouTube maybe a couple of weeks ago, and she has some really awesome patterns. So anytime I find somebody that's new to me, they may not be new to Flosstube, but they're new to me, I try to put their name out there. Who else? I don't know. I'm going to start to ramble. So I will get my thoughts together and I will put them in my next video so we don't have another incident like when I was trying to find the chatelaine pattern. That was a mess, and I apologize for it. But enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. I hope you are enjoying a nice long stitchy weekend like I am. And I think I'm going to go get a cup of coffee and jump back into Operation Dad. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support and your encouragement with getting through this video. You know, I love you guys a bunch. And I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.